So I'm back. So I got to talk about Conor McGregor and what happened last night. So if you don't know, which you should, that Conor McGregor made his return to the UFC, his first fight in I believe it was 5 years, 4 or 5 years against Max Holloway. If you know about UFC, you know who Max Holloway is. So there's supposed to be a big fight between two legends, two people who've been in the UFC for a long time. And then they also fought back in 2013. So this was actually a rematch. So before I get into it, let me say this. I am a I still am a Conor McGregor fan. How I got into Conor McGregor is my boy, shout out to my white boy. One of my good friends, he was huge into the UFC. He always used to tell me stories about how when he was a kid, he used to watch UFC, the original UFC, when who was the Royce Gracie, when he was dominating and it wasn't no weight classes and everything like that. He said his dad used to watch that with him when he was a kid. So he always loved the UFC. And then he was one that in the late 2000s when the UFC really started to pick up, he was a huge fan. He had every UFC video game that there was. So he really kind of schooled me on UFC and got me into UFC because, of course, me, like most people, was big into boxing, a big boxing fan like most people, but we know basketball and football is my one and two sports. But like most people who don't love like Tyson fights, remember Roy Jones Jr., um, Oscar De La Hoya, then of course eventually Floyd. So of course, I always like boxing. So UFC, of course, it intrigued me because in UFC it's like boxing, but it's you can do everything, kick, submit. So and you trapped in the cage. So I was very interested already, but I never became a big fan up until me and him actually end up becoming roommates. So being his roommate, this is when Conor McGregor was on the rise. So of course he always be watching Conor McGregor videos. He even got the Conor McGregor Irish flag, and he had it in his house hung up. And I'm like, you not even Irish, like why you got an Irish flag? Like you straight up American, like you straight up Caucasian. Like it ain't no Irish in you. Like your family, your ancestors owned slaves. Like you was not from Ireland, but he ended up becoming a huge Conor fan up until he even started cutting his hair like Conor. Like it got crazy. So, and this was around the time right before Conor fought Floyd. So I remember the hype for that fight when he fought Floyd, because like I said, we was living together. So I remember we would be watching all of the press conferences and everything like that. So, and then the fight ended up coming. Then I never forget. Conor was looking good. I'll never forget them first couple rounds were looking good. I know Floyd fans and people gonna say that Floyd was playing with him, making it look like a good fight for people. I don't know, maybe, but of course he ended up running out of gas. And I never forget my boy was so hyped and drunk, and my boy actually don't like Floyd. He hate Floyd. So this was kind of a perfect matchup for him. So he ended up getting so drunk and passing out and missing the fight. So I'll never forget. But anyway, that's how I kind of got into Conor from him. And then throughout, there was other fights, Conor had in between that time. I'll never forget. I think it was Aldo that he had knocked out real quick. I'll never forget him. He used to watch that fight all of the time. So I got to start to like Connor because I give Connor his credit. He's the best when it comes to shit talking. He one of the best shit talkers of all time, literally. Like I even heard Shannon Sharp say it's probably Muhammad Ali than him, but I didn't grow up on Muhammad Ali, so I don't know for sure. But in my time, it is probably Conor McGregor when it comes to just straight trash talking, for real, and being box office. So you got to give Conor that. Conor problem as we starting to see is that he lacked discipline for real. He all emotion, and if you know about astrology, he a Cancer, and his whole chart is really water and fire. So he you could tell he just all based off emotion and passion, really. Like he's not really somebody like like I'm trying to think of somebody you could we already know like in NBA terms, he's not like a LeBron James or even a Tom Brady or someone who takes care of their body, studies, really into their craft, into routine, training endlessly, which I know that Conor McGregor trains, but we know that he lived a rock star lifestyle. We know Conor had his own liquor, always drinking, gambling. Like, he lived a fun, outgoing lifestyle for real. So we know that's counteractive with being an athlete. And another perfect example is Floyd Mayweather. We know how Floyd Mayweather don't drink, don't smoke, take care of his body, and that's why he always never run out of gas. He never get tired during a fight versus Conor. And then another thing too, like they always say, you cannot take years off from professional sports and think you just gonna get out there and look like your old self. Throughout time, so many athletes that tries to retire for some years and come back and never work. Like not even for Michael Jordan. Like you can't just take years off. Even like when Michael Jordan came back, what was that, 95? Yeah, like mid 95. And they ended up losing to the Magic in the playoffs. And they said that Jordan 45 is not 23 or something like that. Even Jordan had to, when he just tried to come in and jump back and come in, it took him a whole nother year to fully train and fully be committed for him to be able to be back to Michael Jordan. And that was only what 1 year. Jordan only took like 1 year, 1.5 years off to play baseball. It wasn't even that long. So imagine if he would have took 3, 4, 5 years off. Like it's just not gonna work for real. And that's what happened to Conor because like they always said in sports all of the time, there's no training, but uh, there's no training for an actual game, but the actual game. Like I even know this from playing basketball. You can practice, shoot around, scrimmage all day, but you have to play the actual games against competition to really get back into the flow of things. Because you can't stimulate that. That's the best way to put it. No matter how hard you train, who you train with, you can't stimulate the real life action of the stakes being on the line because subconsciously you still know, okay, if you have a bad scrimmage or a bad workout or while you training, it don't hold the same weight as the actual thing. You get what I'm saying? Like the actual game actually means something, and then you can't recreate millions of people or thousands of people watching you when you training. Like you could have a bunch of 100 people come and watch you spar, do whatever, but you're not gonna be in an arena. Like there's no way to get that feeling. It's no way to stimulate the actual match, fight, game, whatever you want to call it. And that's what ended up happening with athletes like Conor. Yeah, you could train and do all of this as much as you want to, but until you actually get in the ring with somebody that's actually trying to hurt you, like it's not the same. And Connor ended up seeing that. Now another thing is a lot of people said that he might have been injured before the fight even began. They was talking about when he took off his shoe. And even if so, that's even worse because this goes to show that you acting like an old man now. And Connor not even that old. I think Connor like early 30s, like 33, 34. But we know what was Anderson Silva was still fighting at what like close to 40. And we know that a lot of people still be fighting close to 40. So it's not like Conor is like at the age to where he can't fight anymore. And then I'm pretty sure Max Holloway is around the same age as him too. Let me see. So Max Holloway is 34, turned 35 this year. Then Conor McGregor is 37. Dang, my bad. I didn't know he was that old. I thought he was like 32, 34, like around Max Holloway. And then birthday is actually in 2 days, so he's actually about to turn 38. Dang. Yeah, I didn't think he was that old. So he about to be 38. So dang, he is getting up there, especially for UFC. Because like I said, like 40, close to 40 is when, especially like boxing, you can kind of more so get away with. UFC, you got more stuff like legs and submission, like it's more taxing on your body. So it's harder to make it to that past 40 like with boxing is. So I didn't know Conor is 38. So this is even one more point of like the title. Should Conor McGregor retire? And I really, and it's looking like he really should for real. And it's sad for Conor because Conor went out on a bad note. Could beat him bad after he lost to Floyd. So then I think he had one more fight that he lost or something that happened. So he been on a losing streak, and he probably I feel for Conker. You could see his face because I did watch the fight. Like you could tell he was disappointed. You could tell that it really affected him and it really hurted him for real. It's sad because I know that Conor is the type he did definitely want to go down as one of the greatest ever. And he know that that's really in jeopardy, especially for the haters, because they gonna come look at his career like like the massive downturn that he had took at the end. A lot of people gonna really hold that against him. But he always gonna probably be the most popular UFC fighter. He that made this money. He a legend. He never gonna get forgot. But I'm trying to think the best way to kind of look at him, and this is not Zach, of course, but it's kind of like Mike Tyson for real. Like Conor McGregor is kind of like Mike Tyson to where his name holds so much weight. He's so popular, but there's a lot of boxers that's better than him, especially if you're a boxing fan. Like Mike Tyson get criticized all of the time that he didn't fight anybody. He after he got out of prison, he had all of them losses. He lost bad to Lennox Lewis. He lost to Evander Holyfield real bad. So then we know even these fights that he had later on that he shouldn't have had. Like it kind of made him look bad for real. Just like with Conor, because Conor had his dominant fights kind of the same as Mike Tyson early on, but the living wild, living free, partying, living that type of lifestyle. And funny enough, Mike Tyson is a cancer too. It derailed them for what they could have been. It's like, nobody like with Mike Tyson, you're not gonna put him over Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, or probably Sugar Ray Leonard. You're probably not even gonna put Mike Tyson over a Floyd. I know he's switching weight classes, but like there's a lot of boxers, even probably Evander Holyfield, people would probably say are technically a better boxer. Lennox Lewis, who beat him bad and had a better career. Like there's a lot of people that's like over Mike Tyson, even though Mike Tyson is a bigger name than them, like more popular than them. And that's the thing. Like Mike Tyson is probably the most popular boxer besides Muhammad Ali. He might even be more popular than Muhammad Ali, but we know that he right there. So and it's the same for Conor. Conor, probably the most popular UFC fighter, but when you start looking at it, like you got to put John Jones, of course, over him. You probably putting Anderson Silva over him. You probably putting George St. Pierre over him. Max Holloway probably put over him right now. And there's a bunch of other fighters that's like ranked over Conor. Conor might not even be top 10 all time. Just like Mike Tyson might not be top 10 all time if you really look at it. But when it comes to popularity and being liked and must see, they probably number one. So, it's just that big drop off. So just wanted to touch on it. I doubt that Conor can really bounce back. He could try to, but you could tell his body's starting to break down. Because, like I said, if he got injured before the fight or just throwing a kick, you could see, like that's not supposed to happen for a professional athlete. Even people who out of shape, I can probably throw a kick right now and I won't tear my ACL or, like break my leg. Like that's something, like totally different. I don't know. Like I said, maybe he heard it during training camp and then he really just didn't want to use that as an excuse. Oh, he backing out, he's scared, so he just went out there and let people see it for themselves. Like, hey, I really am injured. Maybe that happened, but it's not a good look for Conor for real because now he got to heal from this. What's gonna take much? He about to be 38, so we're gonna try to fight next year at 38. Like it's not looking good. Conor gonna go down in the Hall of Fame, super rich, super successful, super famous, but I know it kind of does kill him that he's not gonna be hit be in that topper in that wrong Mount Rushmore of UFC fighters, and Khabib is even way above Conor. I know Conor hate Khabib, but Khabib was actually my favorite UFC fighter. My boy hated that because when they were fighting each other, of course I was rooting for Khabib, he went room for Conor, but no, Khabib went undefeated in most of his fights. Almost all of his fights, he dominated for real. So, Khabib was even over Conor. But it is what it is. I think this is it for Conor McGregor. Like I said, I feel like he kind of had like a Mike Tyson type of career, and I'm out.